All right, good day, folks, and welcome to yet another wonderful day of American government when Mr. Brickmo is not here. So, as I'm out traveling the state today at Bethany College and Kansas Wesleyan, you get the virtual Mr. Brickmo. So, buckle up and get yourselves ready for the work on the research process. Your tasks today are pretty simple, actually. Your assignment is all contained on my website, and it's under assignments for each of the classes. Essentially, you're going to be doing two things today. There is a research question activity that's located on the right side of the website, and you're going to visit the library databases to do some preliminary research on the research questions that you develop. And you're also going to then submit this final assignment at the end of the hour to Turnitin.com. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of things before we get started. Okay, remember what we're really talking about here is a research process. The point of this research paper for all of our students in American government is to go through the process that you would be expected and will be expected to do after high school, whether that be in college or really anything that involves a research process and proving your case. Remember, this is an argumentative paper, and this is not an informative paper. So you're going to do some informing about particular issues, but then you're going to take a side, and you're going to take a claim and support it with reasons and evidence. But in order to really do that effectively, you have to start with a research question. You have to start with something that's broad enough, but specific enough at the same time. That research question is really going to steer you in the direction that you need to go to gather a whole lot of information and data. Once you've gathered that information and data in the research process and you've done that, well, then a thesis or an argument or a central claim starts to emerge that you want to focus on. And you possibly aren't even going to use 75% of the research that you first found. But that's good because that helped you develop a very important and formal thesis that you're going to use to argue throughout your paper. And once you've done that thesis development after you've done the research and your research question, you begin to see that your thesis is an answer to that research question. And then you have to do a little bit more research, and you have to fine-tune that searching and that sourcing that you're going to be doing in order to get the best evidence to prove your case. And once you have that, organizing that research in a place like EasyBib Notebook is a really great place to begin that organization so that when you go to write your paper, it's a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. That's really kind of the steps in the research process that we need to be focusing on, and that starts today. Like I said when I introduced the assignment, our library has an amazing set of resources, not even just in terms of the research process, but in terms of citing and in terms of the formal nature of writing and our APA style that I'm asking you to do. But really, the databases that we use are some of the most powerful databases that any high schooler has access to. Very same databases that you're going to be working on when you're in college or university. And so I wanted to walk you through just briefly a couple of these websites or a couple of these databases that are really going to be helpful for you. If you look at this database here, ABC CLIO American Government, it's a great database to start with, to learn a little bit about the topic. It's more like an encyclopedia. There aren't a lot of scholarly articles in it and a lot of news articles, but it's a great place to start to get some basic information. If you look at ABC CLIO issues, understanding controversy in society, that's another great resource. It's a little bit more helpful in terms of opening up the doors for exploration in terms of the topics that we want to be looking at and the databases, the formal academic database work that we need to be doing. If you look at this one down here, Opposing Viewpoints in Context, it's frankly one of my absolute favorite resources that we have access to. And I'm going to walk you through that one specifically, as well as this one down here, Gale Global's Issues in Context. It really provides a wide-ranging set of options and a great place to explore. So let's take a look at each one of those. As I mentioned before, ABC CLIO has a lot of different resources for us, and one of the great ones to start off with is this Issues Understanding Controversy in Society piece. If you don't have any idea where to start, this really is a great place to start in terms of looking at some of the topics. You can get to this through our library website, and if you use our offline access at home, you would just need to get to the passwords page to get to it. But if you're on our library system at school, you can get to it without having to log in. And if you click topics, it's going to give you all kinds of options for you to explore. And you can explore topics by letter. I mean, you can scroll through here and find whatever you need. So let's take, for example, we're going to look up legal reform and judicial activism. And when we click on legal reform and judicial activism, it's going to give us kind of some encyclopedic entries. And if we take a look at discussion, it might have, some interesting information that we can look at, current views and outlook. And it looks at all kinds of information about what cases you could look to, how this issue of judicial activism really has become an important piece. But it's a great place for us to start. So again, ABC CLIO, Issues and Understanding Controversy in Society. If you click on Topics, all kinds of opportunities for you to take a look at. If the ABC CLIO database is just kind of a little bit too easy to start with and you want to just dive right in, probably the Gale websites are the best place to go. And Global Issues in Context from Gale is absolutely phenomenal. Again, if you don't know what to start with, if you just look at the website on the front, they've got to browse issues and topics. And, if we just look at browsing these issues, and we can go down just a little bit further, and you can see there's government and politics and law. So if we click on that, there's all kinds of topics. This entire page has a whole bunch of topics that you can explore. For example, if you really have an issue with the Iran nuclear program and the negotiated settlement that the United States led in negotiating, you can click the Iran nuclear program tab, and it's going to take you to something that's already been curated for you. And just take a look for a second. On Global Viewpoints, there are 439 editorials and newspaper things that you can look at. If you look at references, there are 5 reference articles that have already been done. There's statistical analysis, and there's news. Man, look at this, 8,535 news articles. And if you take a look, this one is from February 18th of 2016. This one is from February 17th of 2016. They're up to date, and they've curated all of these things for you. There's 45 academic journals. You want to talk about that top-notch research? This is where you want to go. But again, if you have no idea where to start, all you do is you go to this home page and you can click Browse Issues and Topics, and you can explore any number of these pieces. I like Government Law and Politics because it's got a ton of information. And finally, just like the other Gale website, a great place to start, a great place to do your research is the Opposing Viewpoints in Context database. We require that you take a look at the counterclaim, that you do the research to discredit the counterclaim or to make your claim stronger. And this is a great place to kind of look. Again, if you don't know where to start, just click Browse Issues, and you're going to get, again, all kinds of information. Now let's go back to that Iran issue. You've got the nuclear agreement with Iran. And if we just look here, and I'm just on the fly looking at Iran, and if we look, you've got featured viewpoints, and you've got articles that they've written, about the issues that Iran is facing. You've got, again, magazines and audio. You've got a lot of information that can be a context for an analysis of the Iranian nuclear deal. And if you look, when you look at viewpoints and just click on viewpoints, there's 83 different viewpoints that they have really kind of put together. And, it could be this issue of the U.S. government should support popular opposition to the Iranian election. And it might be a little bit dated, but you've got all kinds of data and you've got all kinds of perspectives. And then there's even further reading. So there's a whole lot of work that you can do in the Opposing Viewpoints in Context website that really is going to set you on the right path for this research paper. So let's take a look at what other things you make sure you got to get done today. Okay, I really hope that that gives you an opportunity to see how you can work through the databases and the way that they can be really effective in helping you with this research process. So keep going back to this if you need to. This is an opportunity for you to get that work done. Remember, go to my website. On the right-hand side of the website, under assignments, for our class, there is a Word document that you need to be working from. So you got to locate that document and start writing at least 3 research questions. They don't need to be all on the same topic. They can be 3 totally different topics. If they're the same topic, look at 3 potential research questions that you could explore. Then, once you have those research questions, begin into the databases and begin documenting your research on each of those 3 questions. Find one article for each of your 3 research questions from 3 different databases. So you're going to have a total of 3 topics, 3 articles from 3 different databases. I just need 3 things from you in those boxes at the end of the hour. When you're done with that, make your assignment over to turnitin.com and submit your Word document. And that's really what you need to be doing right now. Let's get to work. And again, just in case you're wondering, while you're doing this work, I'll be working with our student teachers and future teachers at Bethany College and Kansas Wesleyan University. So I'll see you on block day.